Valorant released from closed beta on June 2nd, 2020, and was a highly anticipated title as it offered a handful of characters that introduced different kinds of playstyle. The game's release came at a time where there just weren't many good hero-based tactical shooters. Games like Overwatch covered the arcade realm of run and gun, while other titles like Counter-Strike Global Offensive focused more on a slower tactical team-based approach. It's fair to say that a lot of Valorant's inspiration does come from Counter-Strike, as the core competitive game mode known as Bomb Defusal is the same as CSGO's with a few small twists. This all sounded like a concoction to produce a perfect esports shooter, but once players got their chance to play it, many felt the game underdelivered. But why is that? Well, that's what we're going to look at. Why I like games like Counter-Strike is because to be an effective player, you need to know various lineups and understand how to properly use your utility. The core game is played around utility and what guns individuals have, while in Valorant, this is just not the case. The skill ceiling is just so much lower in Valorant to me, and that matters a lot. But I can understand if you're brand new to FPS shooters why you'd be attracted towards a title like Valorant, because it is really easy to pick up and have a fun time with. I have one friend who just couldn't understand Counter-Strike and didn't want to put the time into learning the game, but he did love playing Valorant because he could just drop in and have a fun time without knowing much. So it really all just depends on what kind of individual you are and what you are after.
Dude, I can't get off the ship.
Go.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That was so...
Now, there is one other thing that I don't like about Valorant, which isn't directly related to its core gameplay, but rather a technical aspect. This being Valorant's anti-cheat known as Vanguard. I've played my fair share of Face It on CSGO, and I've used their anti-cheat, but when it came to using Valorant's anti-cheat, I was very skeptical, as it has full access to your Windows kernel, which means it has an entire control over your computer and can collect any piece of data it wants. Personally, I'm opposed to using an anti-cheat like this, mainly because of how invasive it is, but also the fact that Riot Games is, quote, a subsidiary of Chinese multinational technology conglomerate for Tencent Holdings, end quote, which means your data is definitely being fed to the Chinese. The anti-cheat continuously stays on in the background as it has drivers loaded, and if you close the software, it will require a system restart as it needs those loaded drivers. So basically, unless you want to keep restarting your PC, the Vanguard anti-cheat is going to be on in the background all the time. This is pretty scary stuff, as it leaves you open to a man-in-the-middle attack, which is notorious for having a third party that's monitoring all your data coming in and coming out. And certain countries are taking notice of these things, such as India, who's banned a lot of Tencent's games and applications due to the threat they pose to national security. So to conclude, the Vanguard anti-cheat is sort of like TikTok and the privacy issues that surround that. For many, it's not a big deal, but for others, it can be a deal breaker. Anyways, that wraps up my video on Valorant and why I personally am not a fan of the game. Don't get me wrong, I've had some fun with it in the past, but overall, it's just not for me. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video, and please subscribe if you haven't, as it does really mean a lot. And with that said, I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.